So I'm here with Dr. Wilbert Brown Jr. and this interview is probably, I would say, my favorite out of the entire series, and just in general, just because I'm able to interview somebody that has been very influential for me, and probably one of the most motivational parts of my personal life. And so I just wanted to introduce somebody that is probably the most committed person I know, period. So Dr. Wilbert Brown Jr., if you can just give a brief intro of who you are and what you've done.
Yes, I'm Wilbert Brown Jr., as pointed out by Aaron here. I've done some things in my life that I've been proud of, and also some of the things I haven't been so proud of. But one of the things that I think stands out in my mind is my completion of my doctorate degree. That this has a lot of meaning for me and for the family. It was not easy to go through that process. It was a process that I went through, and to come out on the other side, because we were in an intact group, and there were 30 of us, and let's say 80% of us was eliminated because of the difficulties of just staying focused on what you to focus on, and do the reading, and mine was an interview. I interviewed I think about 20 or so inmates. It was the learning projects of inmates, and that people don't stop learning if they're not in formal school. And it had been done, some studies have been done, but now with inmates. So I just wanted to show that inmates continue to learn as well. They don't have all the resources that they need, but they continue to learn. So that stands out in my mind as one of the high points, and because I had a family that Yolanda and Karen. Yolanda was in college, I believe, and Karen was right behind her. So I was really trying to motivate them, to encourage them and those to follow, to do as much as you possibly can while you can. And that was what I tried to do, to stay the course and finish up. I thought about a number of occasions to quit, to stop, because of the difficulties that were involved. But I looked at the work that I'd done on the study, and what I needed to do to finish up. And my children, because I didn't want to demonstrate that the father was a failure, that hopefully by completing the process, in fact, that they have done extremely well. You received your doctorate, your M.A. degree, master's degree in actually, I think the entire process was about 3 years for you to get an associate, baccalaureate, and a master's degree.
Right.
And your mother got her. She, I think, had a fellowship to get a master's degree, and then Karen did the same thing. So I would think that, and by A.M.B, that's my wife, getting a degree, a master's degree, I believe that sort of supported what you all have done afterwards. So the degree has been, I guess, one of the high points in my life.
Awesome. So you talked a little bit about some of the high points, or one of the biggest high points for you, but like, what are some of the challenges that you faced in your life? You could say, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've had?
Well, as far as challenges, it was, I grew up in a loving family, but we were poor. And for them to generate funds, and although when I look back over it now, there was not a lot of funds that they had to generate, but there were funds that they had to come up with to send me to college without borrowing the money. I think it was a big challenge for me to stay in college, and to complete the college course was a challenge, because when I graduated from high school, not too many of us went on to college. I was thinking my class is probably no more than 10 out of the 80 students who went on to college. And it wasn't that they couldn't do it, it was just that they didn't have the funds to do it. They didn't have the wherewithal to do it, and the parents couldn't borrow the money, and there was not a lot of funds that were available then either, from the college point of view. That there were a few grants, a few work study grants that were available, but the federal application, FAFSA, was not available. So your parents had to either borrow the money, or you had to work. One had to work and accumulate funds, themselves. So that was a challenge for me to get through college in 4 years. In fact, my mother used to tell when I graduated from high school, from college, she would always say, my junior boy, they call me junior boy, went to college and he graduated in 4 years.
Right.
And that was something that she looked forward to. And then to go on and get a master's degree and a doctorate degree, that stood out. That was one of those points in her life that she could brag about. That my junior boy finished college and he finished a doctor's degree, she'd say.
So let's sort of change gears just a little bit and talk about, just because I know you outlined the degree itself and get into that doctorate degree, and that sort of allowed you to do a lot of different things in your entire life. And one notably is some of the stuff that you've been able to do in Nacogdoches. Can you talk about some of the other successes that you've had outside of education, but based off of what you were able to do commitment-wise by getting that doctorate degree?
Yeah, everything was related to education, because when I think about one of the I guess one of the things that stand out to me would be the Brown Family Health Center.
Mm-hmm.
That in fact, that center does more for African Americans than any other situation in our community, I believe.
Right.
It's one of those milestones that stands out that was articulated. In fact, I had the dream when I first arrived here in 1995. That's when I took on the position of a director. At that time, it was East Texas AIDS Project, and then from there we changed the name to Health Horizons. From Health Horizons to the Brown Family Health Center, and the Brown Family Health Center is a program that started off to provide health services for HIV inmates, not inmates, HIV clients. So it started in that direction, but now it's ended up as a health center. It's a dental office there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have one of the most equipped health centers in Nacogdoches. It's a brand new building that was open, I think, in 2000, in 2002, I believe. And then not only do we provide the health center, we have transitional housing. Mm-hmm. We have two buildings that for clients who can't seem to find a place to stay, and they can stay there as long as they are looking for employment, housing, and being a patient of the Brown Family Health Center. So I believe, Aaron, that one of the and the other thing about it is that we ended up with 3 buildings, and it's a $3 million program, and we have no mortgage.
That's right.
Because we were able to get grants, and I wrote for grants, and that was one of the challenges that we had. How do you fund this kind of buildings, a structure, without any money, really? So that is what I did. I spent a lot of time writing grants, and your grandmother did a lot of in this area too, because as I was writing grants, she was praying. Mm-hmm. And prayer still works. Right. And it's still working with the health center, because they're still depending on funds that were coming in since 2011. Mm-hmm. That's when we received the first grant off of a client's insurance. We would apply for the insurance, and we would get the overage of how much the insurance cost and how much was available. So we ended up every month receiving anywhere from $50,000. Sometimes I think we've had as close to $90,000 a month, and that's in addition to the regular grants coming in to support the program. Mm-hmm. Because we do apply and we receive grants for that purpose too, for program support. But the money that I'm talking about now with that came in from the insurance program was primarily to extend and advance the Brown Family Health Center. So this is and they named the building after me, and it's the center now is named after me. So that has been a challenge. It was a challenge to do that, to write the grants. Anybody who has tried to get grants know that it's a challenge to do. And to come up with not having any mortgage on a $3 million structure has been one of those things that stand out in my mind.
Yeah, so with this whole process of challenges and successes, obviously I know about you that you're definitely a man of faith as well. And so if you can leave the people watching this any motivational or inspirational ideas, what would they be?
Well, you don't have to, at least for me. I mentioned a few moments ago the role of prayer in my life. That I'm a man that depends on the Lord. He has seen me to this point in my life, and in fact, I've had cancer since 2005. Since the time that you were enrolled at Full Sail. In fact, that was the same year that I contracted cancer. In fact, when I brought you down to Full Sail and got back, that was the period that I went down to when they found out that I had cancer. And so it's been that long. What's that? How many years is that?
About 19 years.
Yeah.
2005 to 2024, so about 19 years.
About 19 years.
Yes,
and I've only had medication for the last 5 years. So out of the 19 years that I had no medication for cancer, so I just began to receive the treatment 5 years ago. So God has been extremely good to me, and we had a praying wife who has prayed. I talked about how she prayed for the vision of the Brown family, but she was also praying while I'm undergoing a cancer treatment now, and not to have to do any for the first 15 or so years.
So this interview is obviously in conjunction with Project Juneteenth, and so what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Juneteenth means setting a group of people free that had been enslaved since the beginning. The 16 or so had been enslaved. It was in Texas that the Emancipation Proclamation was not received until, what was it, 2 years later? About 2 years later, that in Galveston, that how God made a way out of no way for African Americans, for those people who were enslaved, and for us to have been enslaved, limited, should I say, educational opportunities were available. Some of the owners were able to educate the slaves, but I'm talking on a wide scale basis, how God made it possible for mankind to be emancipated or freed. So to me, it's freedom after 400 or so years of being enslaved, that they could take a black man and produce crops, cotton and other crops. So it means freedom to me, because without the Emancipation Proclamation, we'd still have that condition today, I believe. And we don't have to go too far now to look back and see what it was like, because in some instances, black folk are still enslaved or bound. So that's about what I think it means to me.
Well, this pretty much concludes the interview, but I just wanted to say that this has been very helpful, at least for me, and then also I personally learned quite a bit, and I think that the people that's going to watch this is going to learn a lot as well. Do you have any last words for the people that are going to be watching this video?
Yes, in departing, I would say that mankind has, especially Black Americans, have done extremely well with what they've had to make a difference in their lives and in the lives of others. But we didn't get here by ourselves. That prayer is still effective, and that's praying to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is still effective, and we still have an opportunity, an obligation to do as you're doing here now, to capitalize on on what others have done, and especially family members, what they've done to make a difference. But I really would say that prayer is effective. I know that it worked in my life. It's still working. I work in the Brown Family Health Center, and it worked through our praying for you, prayers that we had for you, even before you were born. We prayed, and your grandmother leads the prayer effort. She has these words that she can get through to God, like an unlikely source. This had to do with the grant that came in to fund Brown Family Health Center, but God listens to her, and God listens to all of us. But I just think that she has set an example for prayer in our family.
I think that's a good place to leave it at, that prayer works. And so we're just very thankful for you, Dr. Wilbert Brown Jr., and just the example that you've given to all of us. And I think that there's definitely not anybody in Nacogdoches that doesn't know the name Dr. Wilbert Brown Jr., and just the legacy of yourself, but also family and your father and your mother that you got there on the shirt. And so thank you so much for taking the time for this interview. And, and with that being said, as always, peace, one love. We out of here.
All right. Thank you.